Hi guys, we'd actually reached a point where I was going to try to start having Marianne recycle some of her favorite on the sales trainings, and I keep saying I'm not going to, and I haven't really paused or written for the last couple, but I have something I'm going to cover today because it's come up a lot recently with some folks that have reached out or having some questions or having some problems, or they've hired some staff that's giving them headaches. So to some of you, I'm actually talking to you. Mostly though, I'm doing it in a way where I'm talking to your boss. And some others, you're totally irrelevant. But some common issues or problems we run into with sales, and all of this has been covered before. It's not new territory. But I'm going to begin with one. I'm a huge fan, I'm an old school believer in the old throw it against the wall and see what sticks. Take everything, sign everyone, prejudge no one. Prejudging is stupid, it's moronic, it kills great deals and great business. There's always a way, find a way. There's no such thing as a no, get a qualification. I live by that, I believe it, it's absolutely true. That said, don't be a moron. Don't be a putz and think only the garbage goes up. And I'm going to go back, and there's a few of y'all that are going to understand this story and metaphor, and the fistful of you that are going to hopefully be able to follow a little bit. But I'm literally having to go back 30 years when I was first beginning my career. And there was a very common problem, and this is in college, selling cars, trying to pay bills. There was always that guy, and the salesman stood around in their little gripe sessions, which, by the way, I tell you true, it took me a while, but I learned quickly. The ones that stand around in the gripe group, and they sound cool, they're extremely macho, they tell you everything, they give you all the best advice. Man, they are the leaders, they're the kings, they look sharp, it's all that. Are the biggest putz idiots to be avoided in the history of man. I tell you true, I made the same moronic mistake when I bought my franchise in 2006. I remember going to convention in San Diego, and there was that same group. And man, they walked in and they were big and they were cool and they knew their stuff and they were talking about how great they were, and they had a cool coat on. Hell, I'll never forget. I'll call one out, Dave Contorno, and others. And I mean, they were the cool group. They're the ones that go for advice. There's a dude out in Nebraska. So you went, and I was like, okay, I mean, that's the group. Biggest full of crap, windbag, smoke air, unsuccessful people in the history of the place. If you ever actually saw the numbers they produced, it would kill you. But half the time we believe the press and not the reality. So I got lost, and I did want to try to make a little home because this goes through every aspect of society. But some advice: when you see that group, turn and run like hell, because you know who the successful ones are? They're the ones that are not hanging out with them. They're over here actually working. Because in my day, those guys stood around and waited for somebody to walk in the door. And there was always the nerd, the doof, the goofball, he's teaching, but whatever. There's always something negative to say. But there always was the one that was simple and was quiet and somehow yet always made a really good living and made most of the sales, and was the guy that actually had the happy clients and was the one whose clients actually did the interviews and did the referrals and all this stuff. You know what that guy was doing while the rest were smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee? He was making calls. He was researching information. He was helping a client whose car was in service, which the guys over here would tell you, hey, that's their job. Oh, God dang, I'll make enough money to do the work for service too. Go be that guy. Go follow the quiet one, the one that's actually doing work, the one that's actually producing, and you never know it because they don't self-promote. So one of the biggest complaints I ever heard was these guys stood over, and man, there's always that one. We're just going to call him Jimmy. And Jimmy was always, oh my God, the finance department sucks. They're so bad, daggum stinking finance. They get some decent guys in finance. They get a damn lender. If I only they'd find me a lender. If I had a lender, I'd buy, a used car guy. So if they could get some money for the stuff. I mean, I sent 20 in. And I'd love to sit here and get lost on going over the excuses and how excuses cover up weakness, everything else, but I don't want to because I need to come back to point and go over the main one, which is they would sit there and talk about, I sent 10 deals in 5. If they could just get a deal financed, I'd be making money. And here's the reality. You sent nothing. You sent crap. You sent garbage. You sent worse than trash. You didn't throw it against the wall to see what stuck. You went and dug the scum out of the sewer and threw it in the wall to brag about all the great stuff you've sent up there if only they weren't weak. You are not only weak, you are terrible. And you're not only weak and terrible, you are a massive detriment. Here's the best advice I can give for anybody in any of those industries, and this goes for ours. When you have such a salesman, do not try to fix them. Do not try to adjust them. Do not try to save them. Fire them and fire them immediately. And here is why. Those guys are not getting every deal. They're destroying good ones. Example. If I've got Joey, and Joey gets 100 leads, and if the average I would expect is 10 sales, and Joey's is actually 13. Now Joey probably, out of these 13, has 8 really good ones. And he probably has 2 medium, and he probably has 3 bad. And of the bad, he'll be lucky if he actually gets one of them. This is what I'm talking about when you leave none behind, when you grab every deal, when you throw it against the wall. But our boy Jimmy gets 100 leads, and Jimmy don't get 10. Jimmy gets 15 sales. So everybody's like, oh, Jimmy the man. Jimmy's got a motherboard. Jimmy's got a name on the board. Here's the problem. Jimmy has 15 bad. And he's only going to get 1 out. Why do I say fire Jimmy immediately? Why do I say don't try to fix Jimmy? Why do I say don't listen to Jimmy about what's wrong? I mean, I have seen guys, I saw guys in car biz look at Jimmy's because he was so self-promoted and had little names up there and talked all the trash. They would fire good finance managers, good sales managers, good used car managers. They would invest money trying to teach this guy. I mean, just crazy level. When they shouldn't. And you know why they shouldn't? What are we seeing here? What I'm seeing is, remember my good salesman, the one that didn't get a lot of credit? He had 8 stars. We'll call them double stars, 2 single stars. And he has the same 1 garbage this guy has. What does this tell me? It tells me that Jimmy destroyed, trashed, absolutely wasted my 10 good sales. Those 10 didn't go somewhere else. Jimmy went through the same 100 leads, and he made the good ones into garbage, and all he grabbed was the trash, because Jimmy's full of poo, and anybody can get an absolute garbage trash scum out of the gutter to say yes. Hey, buddy, can you take a free car? Hey, buddy, would you like a free house? Heck yeah. I've never paid a bill in my life. I mean, I have one guy that was sending unemployed people. One of y'all called me because your salesman submitted 4 deals and was upset because I'm doing my job. I got them to the bank. They were unemployed. I don't mind sending them if they're part of this group. At the very least, you can say, go get a job. But when that's all you're sending, you're this guy. You're wasting good leads. Here is the difference. Maybe I can clarify this and make it make sense. It's good to get everything you can. But if all you're getting is the quick, easy, lazy garbage, you're killing your company. You're killing your store. You're destroying extremely expensive leads and presentations. So that was the point. Probably took me way too long to get there, but that is a big one. Next, I want to go over reasons this does happen. And these are classics and these are old. Number one, remember the stages of your sales. Follow them through. Don't try to skip. What are you selling? Know what you're selling, and in every stage, always be closing, always be asking for the sale. Simple example. What is the purpose of advertising? It is to make a sale. It is not to make people have brand recognition. It's not to have people like you. It is not to show your grandchildren off to the world. It is to make a sale, period. And that sale is to get a lead, to get someone in your store, to get someone to call you, to have them go online. The close is easy. You tell them what to do at the end. Visit youbuildit.com. Call 712-847-6395. Don't care what it is. My goodness gracious, I had guys trying to sell a franchise for a local garbage carpet company because in the 1980s when cable was new, there were two major stations, TBS and WGN out of Chicago, and WGN out of Chicago used to run their local ads nationwide, and there was a guy that had such a phenomenal close because it was a jingle, and it was call 588-2300 Empire. There you go. You still know it. You can still sing it. People still do. To the point somebody took over the company when I guess the owner retired, died, whatever, and realized there was still a market because of the power of that daggum close. So your ad needs to have a close. It is very important. It is also not complicated. Use the You Build It jingle. It drives us crazy when we go to home shows. You start to get tired of people singing your jingle back to you. But by jiggers, you don't when you're trying to pay your bills. It makes you real happy. And you smile and you look at them and go, yeah! Or you sing it with them and you make it fun. Why? Because you got a close that is locked in their head. Keep that, use that, but remember your sale. After you've got the lead, what is your next sale? Your next sale is a presentation. Do not sell the price of the house. Do not sell neighborhood. Do not sell signing a contract. Do not sell anything but the presentation. You are going for one close only. Every email you send, every phone call you make, everything you put out in the U.S. mail, every piece of marketing material you have at that stage forward has one purpose: get them into a presentation. At the end of the presentation, I always had a nice, clean, handy tool that I knew how to use because it was part of my structure and it was a safety block on me. I wish I'd never taught it to anyone because it's become the greatest weakness we often have in our sales stages. I used to say, close them on getting to the lender. Kill that idea, destroy it, ignore that. If that is part of the process to go from 2 to 3, do so. But do not let that be an objective in and of itself. It has been used to the point of absolute destruction and garbage by too many people. Too many excuses, too many easies. I met mine. I had a guy I knew and I recruited him. I'm going to go off sidetrack for a minute because this is important. I had a guy I knew who I recruited. I worked with him. He'd been an assistant to me 27 years ago. And I loved the guy. Brought him in, put him in a store, sell him. And for the life of me, held on, over a year. The guy couldn't get it. Always right there. And the presentations were good, and the attitude was good. Everything seemed good. And I mean, when we finally had to let him go because he was only selling 1 out of 20, When we finally had to let him go, it's bothered me for forever. Why couldn't this guy make it go? And I realized he'd gotten tired over the years and he'd gotten weak, and it was more about getting to the stage where it was no longer his liability and his responsibility. So you know what he sold the hell out of? Contact the lender. Man, he sent people to the lender. He had that closed down. There was never anyone that wasn't sent to the lender. The problem was this: the lender is not selling you build it. And it's real easy to get somebody to say they're going to contact the lender or to maybe take their call, but they ain't sold on you. What good is the lender? What good is getting them approved if it's just one more thing for them to contemplate and think about? It has to be, that is all I had to know, because damn, I was done. I was signing. The only reason I didn't sign right then is A, you wouldn't let me, and B, we want to make sure we get the money. But it's not a question of if I get the money, what I'm going to do. When I get the money, it's a done deal. I'm signing with you. That has to be the attitude. That has to be the close. They have to be closed on you before they leave that office on the presentation. If not, your presentation's garbage. Fix it. It cannot be a question. It cannot be, thanks for the info, I'm going to shop and let you know. It can't be the kind of kiss that makes them wonder about the boy next door. It's got to be the kind of kiss that makes them say, how soon can we get a ring? So the presentation has one purpose, and it's to sign a contract. Will you sign 100% of them? No. Will you sign 100% of the viable ones? You should. You should. To my knowledge, I lost 2 deals. I don't know out of how many hundreds. And they piss me off to this day because I don't know how I lost them. How the hell do you sign with the general contractor instead of me? I mean, what is wrong with you? That's like choosing, it's like going on a date and I kiss you goodnight and you decide to become a nun. I mean, it's that level of weird, man. That's that level of weird. It doesn't make any sense. But I lost 2, and I know exactly the 2. And I'm still trying to understand why. Did I sign all of them? No. Why not? Because not all of them are viable, man. Not every girl you kiss was ready to be a wife. There's a lot of them that just, they're the scum in the gutter. And I don't mean that disrespectful. I'm not trying to hate. I'm just using the metaphor. Look, if I don't have a job and I've been on welfare for the last few years, may never qualify. If we got some marital issues, if we have a land problem, if there's no money, there's reasons why not. From credit to job to finance to debt to income, usually it's a debt to income issue, to a remodel I don't want. Look, guys, I despise a remodel under 50 grand. And I totally despise one under 30. I'll do it now and then to be sweet and loving, but I don't want them. It's not my world. Redoing your kitchen and your bathroom is not my business. I'll do it, but I don't want it. So you pass on a lot of those. Itty bitty houses, real small ones, first time buyers. God, they're tough, man. God, they're tough. Because let's be honest, you're 23 years old and you're looking for a $140,000 house, you're probably better with a tract home. I can help you, I can do you, I can give you better quality for the same money, and I can give you exactly the design you want, but honestly, there's a reason used homes still have to sell, and there's a reason tract homes are built. So those are tough, and there are going to be some of them. But I would challenge you, dang near half of the ones you meet should be in this guy's box, and you should sign. So remember what you're selling. By the way, once they sign, your next sale is managing, taking care of that sweet newborn baby that needs a lot of oversight and a lot of care. The most time you're honestly going to need to spend loving and caring for your little baby client is the planning stage. From signing contract to closing on construction loan. Once I close on the construction loan, it's going to be headache days. I mean, I want you to think of it like the lead is a new girl came to town. The presentation is the dating, and the signing and the marriage, and the signing is the birth. That little baby needs a lot of care. It can be exhausting. It's stressful. It's like, oh, why did we do this? But once they get into school, it's not carefree and easy, but it spikes. It doesn't take the same care for a 6-year-old, but a 6-year-old has, oh, we need something to take care of. Kind of that image. The main care is at that loving stage. By the way, that's the most important one. You mess that up, and I don't want to go there. I don't like that image, but you get the point. You got to manage and care for that wee one and in that stage. So let's go back. Last one, because this is way too long. Places we make the biggest mistakes and the reason we do not sell. Why do so many guys are Jimmy with 15 garbage instead of signing one out every other presentation that comes in? Is the presentation about you or about them? The best way to know is this. When you ask a question, did you really listen, and did you shut the hell up? If your mouth is moving, we need to call you Jimmy. If more words came from you than came from your client, you're Jimmy. If you asked a question and you were sitting there going through your grocery list or wondering about the cute girl that gave you your coffee at 7-Eleven, that's right, we can't all afford Starbucks. And instead of hearing what they're saying, you're Jimmy's toady. You're even below Jimmy. You're the guy that thought Jimmy was the king that didn't even put 15 on the board because you listened to the bad advice guy. And then you can't figure out why in the store. It's so many scenarios there. Get in, follow the steps, ask the question, shut up. Every client, every time, period. It's as true as if I drop this, it will fall. I have yet, all the times I've dropped stuff, I've yet in my life have something hover or shoot up. And anyone that's thinking, oh, didn't you ever drop a bird? Ugh. Never. 100% of the time, everything I've ever dropped fell. As true as the law of gravity,